Visual Traffic Recorded Online Training, Order Entry Session 1. In this lesson, we'll be discussing how to select an advertiser for a new order, the basics of the order header, how to enter a basic spot pattern, how to enter a multi-week spot pattern, and viewing the order calendar. Selecting advertiser for new order. To create a new order in Visual Traffic, you'll need to go to Orders, Create Edit Orders. Once you've reached the Create Edit Orders screen, you'll need to select your advertiser from the drop-down box. You can click on the arrow to drop it down. You can begin typing in the name to find the name. You may also use the Find button directly to the right of the drop-down. When you're using the Find Advertiser screen, you can search by advertiser name, advertiser ID, or agency name. When you're typing in the advertiser name, you do not need to type in the entire name. You can type in part of the name and then click Find. Matching advertisers will display below, and you can select the one you wish by clicking on it and saying Select. If you needed to check on something for the advertiser, you could click Go to Advertiser. If the advertiser you want is not displayed in the list, you do not need to leave order entry in order to set it up. Simply click Advertisers, as it is a jump box. Click New and create your new advertiser. Once you've created the new advertiser, click Close, and then select it from the drop-down. To start the new order, simply click New. Order Header. To move throughout the fields in the order, you'll need to use your Tab key. The first thing I'd like you to notice is the order number. The order number field is grayed out for my order, and that's because in my corporate setup I said VT should assign the order number. Not only is the order number displayed here, but it's also displayed up in the title bar. The date field is the date in which you are entering the order. Tabbing will take you to Cust PO. That's customer purchase order, and if your client needs a purchase order number, put it in this field. Tabbing again will bring you to Save as Template. Save as Template is a way to save an order as a master order so that other orders can be created from this order. Let's say you're selling a holiday greetings package and you've sold 20 packages that are exactly the same except for the copy. You would put in the first order, saving it as a template, and then when you went to put in the other 19 orders, you would create from this master order. Tabbing again brings me to Statement Group. If you only have one statement group in your database, tabbing will skip this field. Statement Group is only active if you have 2 or more statement groups in your database. When you select your statement group, this defines what stations you can enter on the second page. Tabbing again will bring us to AR account. Is this cash, non-billable, trade? Do you have your AR accounts broken up by station? And you'll see that I do. So I'm leaving mine on AR Cash Training 1 AM. Tabbing again will bring us to the receivables group. Make sure that the receivables group is correct for this order. Tabbing again will bring us to description. This is a description of the order. You don't need to put anything in here, but if you do, this field will print out on the confirmation for the client and on the invoices. Tabbing again brings you over to the right side to order type. We have 3 types for orders: per spot with fixed rate, and package. Per spot means a unit rate, a rate per spot. You can also flat bill a client with the per spot order type. Per spot with fixed rate means that the client will see a fixed rate for every spot, but internally you have different spot rates. And then we have package. If you are doing package billing and need to use co-op invoices, I would recommend using package. This allows you to flat bill the customer, let's say $500 for the month, but give an internal rate for the spot so that the spot rate will show on the co-op invoice. You would also use this if you needed to have an accurate average unit rate report or lowest unit rate report. We'll go ahead and set this as a per spot order. Tabbing again brings me down to the middle, right to renewable status. Renewable status means TFN. Is this order a TFN order? If it is a TFN order, click the button and the global order TFN parameters pop up. These parameters are populated from the corporate setting. If you want to allow the order TFN, you simply click the box Allow Order TFN. This says that the TFN date will be 7/28/2012 and that the lead time for the order is 60 days. This means 60 days before it's up for renewal, it will show in the order renewal queue. If you would like this to be a TFN order, click OK, and a warning window comes up warning you that if you change anything on the corporate level, it will also change all the items for this regarding TFN. However, I don't want this to be a TFN order, so I'm going to say no and cancel. Tabbing again to optional billing. Optional billing is used to charge an additional percentage or dollar amount on top of a spot or an invoice. So if you've promised a client first position and a break and they are paying an extra 15% on that, you could do a spot surcharge, or you could do an invoice surcharge. When you're using an invoice surcharge, you must select the income account and then the station that it will reflect in billing. Then you need to determine the amount. Is it a dollar amount or a percent amount? And is it tax exempt if you are charging taxes? A description, and then any discounts and commissions to apply. If you are charging a spot surcharge, you do not need to select the station simply because that will be already reflected on the spot. Tabbing again brings us to commissions and discounts, and the commissions and discounts tab will cover agency, agency discount, the salesperson, sales commission, order discount. Click the button, Order Discount. Do you need this order to have a discount? Perhaps the client has paid in advance and you would like to give them a prepay discount. So you would select Order Discounts Prepay. This way they will see that they indeed did get the discount for paying in advance. Tabbing again brings us to salesperson. If Kim Borden is not the salesperson for this client and this order, simply click the drop down and select the other salesperson that needs to have this order. If the name is not listed, click the button Salesperson, which will take you to the advertiser. Go to Order Settings, select the salesperson, and add the available salesperson to associated salespeople. Once you've added it, click OK, and then select the new one from the drop-down. When you select a new salesperson, make sure you're checking the commission on the right-hand side of that. Salesperson's commissions could be set up by rep, and you need to make sure that you have the right commission structure set up. Applied to bulk purchase. What is a bulk purchase in VT terminology? You have a client that places a buy, and in that buy they're saying, I will spend X amount of dollars, which will give me X amount of spots, but I'm not sure when I want to run these within this time range. If you need to keep track of something like that, use bulk purchase. Click New, and you can name it the end date of the bulk purchase, which would be the end date of the contract, the total amount of money they're going to spend, and the total amount of spots that they will get. If you are entering an order while the bulk purchase is already being used, you would put in the current dollar amount that they've already used and the current number of spots that they've already used. Click Save, OK, and then click the bulk purchase from the drop-down. The last two items on the screen are agency and agency commission. If you need to switch an agency on an order, you may do so by clicking the drop-down. Or if an agency sends you net rates rather than gross rates, you can set your agency commission rate to be none. Go ahead and click OK. Tabbing again will bring us to taxes. If you are in a locale where taxes are charged, your current taxes will show on the bottom portion of this screen. Make sure that is the correct tax rate. If not, remove it and add the correct one. Tabbing again brings us to invoicing. Invoicing is where we determine the invoice frequency, how to print the invoices, how many copies, etc. The defaults are print invoice and print detail. They are coming from the advertiser. So on the advertiser level, if I had said notary required, it would be checked here as well. I want one copy of the invoice, and this is a calendar month or EOS biller. My invoices will sort by date. If I have a simulcast going, it will show as a simulcast. And if I was using electronic invoicing with this client, this is where I would put their codes. Tabbing again will bring us to notes. Let's say this client needs to have something special show on their invoice. You could say invoice and then type in the text in the note text field and save it. Then the invoice would print out with the invoice note. We'll come back to view calendar at the end of this session. Tabbing again brings you to the white box. This is where all of your spot patterns would be listed. Basic spot pattern. To start a new spot pattern, click Spot Patterns. Spot patterns are the items in VT that tell what station they should run on, what dates, what times, what copy it should run, etc. To begin a basic line, we're going to click New and select our station. Remember, if the station you want is not displayed in this drop-down box, you will need to cancel, close, and go back to the first page and change your statement group. Make sure that your income account is correct, and then put in your spot rate. Put in the start date of the order, put in the end date. You can also double-click in the date field to bring up a calendar. If this had been a TFN order, I would have clicked the box Is TFN, and when I do that, it brings up the same information from the front page. The biggest thing that you would notice if this was really a TFN order is that this end date field would be grayed out. Tabbing again brings you to discounts and commissions to apply. You'll notice that order discount and sales commission are already checked. That's because we have those turned on in the commissions and discounts. If you needed to take off an order discount or a sales commission from a particular line, or if you needed to take off agency discount from a particular line, this is where you would do it. Description. This description can be used to identify bonus spots, make good spots, sponsorships, etc. If you would like the agency to note that these are their added value spots, put the description of agency added value on there and it will print out on the invoice. Tabbing again will bring us to target information. Target informations are either an event, a program, or ABS time. ABS time stands for absolute time. It's an absolute time range with a start time and an end time. You can never have the same start time and end time. If they are a specific minute, you must increment that end time by at least the length of the spot. So if a spot is to air at 17:05 and it's a 30-second spot, the start time would be 17:05 and the end time would be 17:05:30. You'll notice with absolute time that start time and end time are activated, spot length, the avail code, copy, etc. When we go to event, an event in VT is a program, such as a sporting event, a news program. It's something that will be sponsored. When we did this, you'll notice that my start time through end time grayed out. It's no longer available for me to choose, but the log event activated. So here is where you would pick your log event. So if it was to be a local newscast sponsor, you would put it in the local newscast log event. Log event targets would be used especially with sporting events. We have programs. Programs are long-form programming where they pay you for the airtime. When you select program, notice that start time through end time is grayed out, your spot length, your avail code, your advertiser copy, your primary product code. It's because it is a long-form program and you would select the program from your drop-down, such as your Sunday morning church services if you carry them. We'll go ahead and leave this one as an absolute time, and we're going to say that it's running from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And you'll notice that these times are hour, minute, second. The spot length for this spot is a 30-second spot. And when we tab again, it asks whether you want to put it in any avail, first avail only, or last avail only. If it is to be in the first position of any break that it falls in, mark it first avail only. Likewise, if it needs to be the last position in any break, mark it last avail only. If it can go anywhere in any break, any avail. Tabbing twice brings us to log avail code. The log avail code is the code that this spot pattern is looking for on the log. Mine will be general as it's a regular spot. Advertiser copy. You can click advertiser copy to go in and set up your copy plans and your copy records, and then once you have set those up, you would assign them from this drop-down box. Primary product code. If this is not the primary product code for this spot, please change it here. Tabbing twice will bring us to spot type. Spot types are reporting tools. It doesn't have anything to do with scheduling. Let's say you need to know who bought a certain package last year. If you have coded them with that package under spot type, if we said high school sports, then you could pull a history report saying who had spot types of high school sports. Tabbing twice will bring us down to spot pattern, where you have the option of daily quantity, multi-day spread, or multi-day spread extended. Typically, the one we use most here is daily quantity. If you needed a multi-day spread or a multi-day spread extended, you would use the new multi-week rather than a regular line. Daily quantity means spots per day. Tabbing again brings us to repeat every blank weeks. We're telling it to repeat every 1 week, but if they wanted to run a week and skip a week, then you would repeat it every 2 weeks, and we'll do that with this order. Then you come down to clear, and you wouldn't use this on the first line so much as you would on any ensuing lines. So I'm going to say 2 spots on Monday, 2 spots on Wednesday, 2 spots on Friday. Tabbing again, that leaves me 6 spots for the week, and it brings me over to the right side where my scheduler flags are auto bump, make good, and priority. If I wanted to automatically bump this spot and have it show up on my bump list every day and me manually place it, then I would click auto bump. If this was a make good spot, I would click Make Good. It would show on the invoice that it was a Make Good spot. Priority. What priority do you want to put on this spot pattern? VT has a recommended priority code structure. A priority 255 would be a sponsor-specific minute spot. Agency buys are coded as 225. Day part buys are 200. A 6A to 7P spot could be coded as a 175. 5A to midnight or a 6A to midnight could be 150. A midnight to midnight would be a 125. And then we come to our preemptible spot priorities. A 100 could be a no-charge, bonus, value-added spot, or you might wish to use 100 for your trade. In this setup, 75 is my trade. 50 is barter, and 40 is used for promo PSAs. Based on that priority code structure, this is going to be a priority code 200 because it is a day part buy. We can choose to uncheck product code separation so that when scheduling, VT will not look at the product code on this client. And we could also tell it to uncheck advertiser separation because we don't want to look at advertiser separation when scheduling this order. We have pattern separation. When you're using pattern separation, you want to separate this spot pattern from itself by X number of avails. And then scheduling bias. This defaults to the station default. Go ahead and click Save. You've entered your first spot pattern. Now that you've entered the first week, if you need to enter a second week to run, you would click New and change the start date. Here again, it's running every 2 weeks, and so it will run an even-odd rotation, and this week we want it to run on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's how to put in a basic line multi-week spot pattern. Multi-week order entry gives you several options when you're scheduling spots. We're going to say New Multi-Week. Let's go ahead and change our rate. We'll use the same date range, but we will change our time range. And then we'll come on down to Edit Multi-Week Pattern. When you edit a multi-week pattern, you'll see that the calendar pops up. This calendar allows you to schedule specific spots per day by putting in the number of spots per day, just like so. Or you could say weekly entry, and we're going to say a weekly entry. Let's say we want it to run from 9/12 to 9/24, running 18 spots a week. And if I put a 1 on each of these days, this means spots can run on that day. No spots can run on Saturday and Sunday because it's set to 0. If I wanted to front load my week, I could do so by saying 3 spots on Monday, 3 spots on Tuesday. So the higher the number, the more spots it can schedule on that day. We're going to go ahead and generate a suggested schedule. And what this is showing you is that there are 6 spots on Monday, 6 spots on Tuesday on most of these weeks, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are 2. If we don't like this, let's go ahead and put back 1 and 1 and generate, and you'll see that most days have 4, some of them have 3. It changes from week to week. If you like the way this is, you can click Create Custom Schedule. If you knew that there was a week where there needed to be a holiday taken off, you would edit this selected week and move the spots from Thursday perhaps to, let's put 4 there. 5 and 5. We haven't changed the overall total. Now we'll create the custom schedule and you will see that it's on the calendar, so that if I needed to go change it on the calendar again, I could. I can also clear my schedule, which will erase the entire schedule line, and say bulk entry. And in bulk entry, I can say from a start date to an end date, how many spots do I need to run? If I say I need to run 300 spots and tell it can run on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and generate suggested schedule, this is how they will place 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, etc. You'll notice that the overall spot totals here are 60, 60, 60, 60. So it gave it an even spread throughout the run of the contract. We'll go ahead and create the custom schedule. I could clear a month, so I don't want to run those spots in November that way. Let's say in November we want to create a special week and we want to run the 55543 all month. I can copy that week and then copy it to certain weeks by highlighting the weeks and click Add, OK. And now that week has been copied to the other weeks that I chose. Go ahead and click Save and save again, and it schedules all of your spots. Notice that the black area on the bottom of your screen updates each time you add a spot pattern. Once you are done putting in your spot patterns, click Close on the right-hand side of your screen, viewing the order calendar. You may click View Calendar, and when you click View Calendar, you will see the overall totals for the entire order. Your contract totals of spots and non-spot billing, if any. your billing totals, your income totals for the contract, by the month, and for the week. You will also see the cumulative total for all of the spots for each date. Click Close again and OK, and you have entered your order. To review what we've learned in this session, we learned how to select an advertiser for a new order, whether it be from the drop-down box, using the Find button, or creating an advertiser. Then we learned how to create a new order. We learned about the basics of the order header, how to enter a basic spot pattern, how to enter a multi-week spot pattern using weekly buy and bulk entry, and then we learned about viewing the order calendar. From all of us at Marketron, thank you for viewing.